Nothing can go wrong with this load, because if it does, if there's any damage, these trucks could bankrupt me. At this point, it shouldn't be a surprise where I'm at. We're back at Tuscany Motors in Elkhart, Indiana, and it is time to grab 3 pickup trucks. That's right, no RVs this week. Even though this is RV transport, sometimes we play car hauler, and that's exactly what we're going to do, headed back down to Florida. Now, if that soundbite from the intro got your attention, let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. These trucks right here, these F-250s, they are upfitted by Tuscany Motor Company, and they are retailing MSRP for about $89,000 a piece. The prize jewel of the load, though, is going to be the Ford Shelby F-150, and that is a $140,000 truck. That's going to be the 3rd truck on this load. Now, if you're bad at math, at least I can say that my 3rd grade math teacher, Mrs. Stanovich, was wrong. We will carry a calculator in our pocket at all times now. So some quick calculations on the phone here, and that means that I am being trusted with a $318,000 load of brand new pickup trucks. So with that, let's cue up the B-roll footage and some music and get these trucks loaded up for Florida. So as you guys can see, we are using every inch of the trailer again, and that is just where this shipshe trailer really comes into its own. Again, I know a lot of people, even myself, have had troubles with them, but having the front and rear pullouts is what makes loads like these possible. So let's get to Florida. So it was a very uneventful drive down to Florida, and honestly, you can't ask for anything more than that. Boring, mundane, uneventful driving is my favorite. And now I'm going to show you guys why I carry these cones on the truck, because I get asked about them a lot. Sometimes you get to, especially car dealerships that are too small to unload on their lot. And it's nice to be able to have the cones to throw them out there, even if you're unloading on a little back street like this. They were especially handy when I got to Miami to unload that Shelby. I was unloading on a very busy main street and had to actually take a lane for about a half an hour to get the truck off. Cones are nice to have, plain and simple. Just buys you a little extra space. Of course, you gotta keep your head on a swivel, but that's why they're there. Now you're seeing me pull the straps off of all 3 trucks, and that is because the 2 F-250s actually go here to Port Richey, which is just north of Tampa. The Shelby, as stated, is going to Miami. The Shelby also had a tonneau cover, or a hard cover, on the bed. And because of that, it had to be loaded facing forwards, and it was best to load it at the back, based on the size of the other trucks and using the overhang of the trucks at the front and the rear. So this did create a little bit of extra work for me to have to unload a truck and reload it back on there. But when you're pulling for $3.12 a mile, you really can't complain, especially when you have trucks like these and you look like $1,000,000 going down the highway. I said in the last video that everything is just going right, and it continued again with this trip. I got the Ford loaded back on there and did a little U-turn in Florida, as you can see on the map that I'm going to overlay here. And I actually got a reload coming out of Florida. No, these weren't cars. This is a true reload. I got trailers coming out of Florida, a state that is notorious for not having any freight to come out of. We'll jump to that in just a second here. The unload at Miami was kind of a rush to get done before 5, but there was no damage, no issues with the unload there. Like I said, got parked up in the street and got it off. Of course, no damage. Your boy's a professional. I got this. Welcome to Allcom USA in DeLand, Florida, and at this moment I was thinking, what did I get myself into? As you can see, we've got a livestock trailer on there, and that was not the load I was here to get. But thankfully, the load I was here to get, even though it wasn't ready, these guys actually got me set up with a better load that took me back to Indiana. It was quite the hustle and bustle, so I wasn't able to get a lot, but enjoy the footage I got. Trailer number 2 was this behemoth of an enclosed car hauler trailer. And as we go around back here and take a quick look inside, these guys actually stuffed some livestock pickup truck toppers in the back and secured them in there as well. So this thing was loaded. Every trailer manufacturer differs just a little bit, but generally when you're getting these enclosed trailers, livestock trailers, cargo trailers, anything of the sort like that, they actually usually load your trailer for you. And these guys, I cannot sing enough good praises about them. They were on their stuff. They were perfect. I loaded cargo trailers all across the country, and even trailers smaller than this, and had forklift operators that struggled. These guys were on point. It was fantastic, and like I said, the load I came here for was actually not ready to ship yet. They were the ones that suggested this load back up to Warren, Indiana, and they saved my bacon. And just big shout out to the guys at Allcom. Really great working with them. Would absolutely haul trailers for them again. So I don't have any footage of the unload because it started raining when I was there. And although GoPros are meant to be waterproof, I have a couple of media mods on mine for this vlog style of video that I tend to do, so it's not exactly waterproof anymore, and I am a little nervous about having it out in the rain. On top of that, trailer deck was really slippery. I was unloading in the mud, and it was just not a good time. I would have had to beep out a lot of profanity, let's just put it that way. To get into the load details here, as you can see, these two trailers did take up about the entire length of the trailer. In fact, they used a little bit more because of the stinger on the front. And this is the part where everybody on the internet's probably going to chastise me or say cheap freight or who knows what. This load paid me as the driver $1.90 a mile. Now, that is the 80% to the driver. My carrier takes 20% of all backhauls or reloads. So that means that this was moving for about $2.28 a mile, which frankly I still think is great money for coming out of Florida with a flatbed load. You're really not going to find anything like that if you were to try to find cars or anything on Central Dispatch. I was over the moon when I got a call about this, and there's always going to be somebody who's going to say that you're hauling cheap freight no matter what it is. Usually, those are the guys that tell everybody they're making $10 a mile and have a $3.79 Peterbilt parked at home. But that's the internet for you. I'm going to tell you guys like it is and let you guys decide from there. So we came down to Florida for $3.14 a mile. We went back north for $1.90 a mile. Round trip, including deadhead miles, we're still moving for $2.52 a mile. And that is above whatever anybody's getting on the spot market average right now. So that is very successful in my book. Again, my costs are also extremely low. I don't have a $200,000 truck note to pay. The most expensive piece of equipment I have is my trailer, and that's deducted from my rate through my carrier, so I can afford to take some quote-unquote cheaper loads. But again, I really don't think anybody could have made this run more profitable if they tried. And speaking of trailer payments, I might as well throw this in here too. 1 month is officially done here at Synergy, and I can happily and proudly say that I blew the $1,500 trailer payment minimum out of the water. I paid just under $2,500 for my first month with this trailer, and that's just what I need for my goal to try to pay this trailer off sooner than the 34 months that's expected to pay it off. If it sounds like I'm bragging, I promise I'm not trying to. I understand that there are people who are constantly in a state of panic on whether or not they will make it to the next month. Whether it be a truck payment, a trailer payment, lack of freight, whatever it may be. So I never want to belittle anybody that's in that spot. I was in that spot not too long ago with Foremost. But I am excited, and I want to share the good news with you guys and show what happens when you hit a stroke of good luck. Because like everything, this industry is no different. It has its ups and downs, and I've shared the bad. It's great to finally share some good with you guys, and I'm grateful for that. I leave everybody with one final good thing from this trip, and that is I was able to get my windshield replaced in a pretty timely manner, and it actually didn't cost me anything. Well, it was included in my insurance premiums. I get one free glass or one free windshield per year. So I got a couple shots of that while these guys were monkeying around on and in my truck because I just thought it was cool to share. I had a crack and a chip that had actually expanded and become a bigger issue when I was in Wyoming. And going from Florida to Nevada to Wyoming, back to Florida, that crack just kept growing and growing, so it was time to finally repair it. With that, I hope you all had a fantastic Thanksgiving, whether you were on the road or at home with family, or wherever home is these days. Thank you to those who have subscribed. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button for all things RV transport, and livestock and car trailer transport and pickup truck transport, because we're just doing it all here. I'm Connor for Crossbuck RV Transport. Thank you so much to everybody who stayed to the end, and all of my regular viewers especially. You guys are awesome. Take care. Stay safe out there.